Schaumer. Name at birth, Marcus, Markus. The interviewer is Franz Starr, Starr. We are in the city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The language of the interview will be in English. My name is Franz Starr. Today is June 18th, 1997. I will be interviewing Iboya Schaumer, maiden name Marcus. We are in the city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Would you tell us your full name, please?
Iboya Markus, Ibi Schaumer.
Marcus was your maiden name?
Yes, and I was born in Hungarian, in Miskolc, in 15 October 1924.
What were the names of your parents?
My mother's name was Aranka Weiss Markus, and my father Lajos Markus. They were born also in Hungary, and they were living all their life in Hungary.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 3 brothers.
What were their names?
The oldest one, that was living in Argentina, his name was David. The second one name was Ernő, and the third one was Laszlo. They weren't married. I mean, my older brother was in Argentina. He was married, but the 2 other one was at home. They weren't married.
When did he leave for Argentina?
Well, Argentina, he must have left about 1927 or 28. He was 18 years older than me. And the next one was 15 years older, and the third one 13 years older. And I was the only girl.
What was it like being the only girl, having these older brothers?
Beautiful, beautiful. I could tell you, just like I would have 2 sets of parents, but I couldn't get something from my parents, I always could get it by my brother. If I wanted to buy something that I saw in the city, something nice, and I was telling my father, not my mother, she didn't mind, but my father, oh no, there's too much money, you don't need it. Then I went to my brother, especially the younger one, was 13 years older than me. Lotzi, I saw that, and this is so beautiful, so nice, but Papa said that it's too much and you don't need it. Don't worry, you get it. And the next day he went to the city, was 25 kilometers was from there, and he bought it me. But mind you, they were strict with me also. They didn't allow me too much liberty. I could go by them so far. But, I mean, whenever I had any trouble, I went first to my brothers, not to my parents.
What type of neighborhood were you raised in?
Well, I was raised in a neighborhood, and it's a very, very small town. I don't know if there was more than 250 people all together. They all were Christians. The town was divided in 2 religions, Greek Catholic and Roman Catholics, and we were the only Jews in the family. But it was no, in those times, at least when I was growing up, you couldn't feel no anti-Semitism. I did my schooling, the public school, the elementary school. I was doing it there in the small town. In the same school was all the kids were going, and I didn't feel outsider or whatsoever, you know. I was just one of them. We were playing together, we running around together. So it was not in the beginning absolutely no feel of anti-Semitism. We were called our Jews there, you know, that they came in the house in just like home. And my mother had a grocery store. And in summertime, when there was no school or the weekend, I was helping her out. And she was very, very well loved by the people. They came with every problem that they had. My mother was the one who tried to solve them, you know. She was, beside Linda, she was a very intelligent, tiny woman. She was very, very small. My father was very, very tall, and my mother was very small, but everybody loved her. She was a lovely person. She would never raise her voice. She got to tell you what you have to do or you don't have to do, but he would never raise her voice. My father, he raised his voice. He was the head of the house. That's, you have to have full respect to him. You never could sit in his seat by the table. It was his father's seat. And you could never start to eat before he started to eat. And he was looking after that. Thus you say your prayers. Thus Shabbos you don't do what you shouldn't do. So he was the strict one, and the mother was taking all the blames whenever we did something. I mean, I did, because the boys were already grown up men in those times, you know. And then the boys, they were adoring my mother. She was such a tiny, sweet woman. They were adoring. And mostly when they got mad at me, when they heard us I answering something for my mother what is shouldn't be. And then I said, you remember, you give the whole respect to mother, and don't you ever dare to raise your voice to your mother. It's altogether my memories of childhood. It was beautiful.
Aside from working in the store with your mother, was there any other activity that you did with her that was special?
Not really. We didn't have a chance, you know, because we were living in a small community. It was no Jewish community. It's very seldom in holidays, in Jewish holidays, we got together in a neighboring town where concentrated all the Jewish people around for holidays for the shul. And then it was some kind of occasion, like a Hasana, an engagement party, a bris, or any meeting with the rabbi to solve the problem, the kahila, because they all, it wasn't coming from one town, you know. That's all the Jewish kahila in the community came all around. Every 5 kilometers was some little town. Maybe one has 3 family Jewish, the other one 5 or 6, but not a big one. So just to have a kahila or have some a Jewish rabbi, the rabbi that should, you know, have something to do with the community, it has to come together. And I think once in a month was always a regular meeting, when they solved what you have to pay, and whoever has some kind of trouble, and we have to help or whatsoever, you know, that's the community problems. Yeah, that's what we did. And then I have friends from the neighborhood, Jewish girls, you know, that also sometimes not always in holidays we met, because we all were riding bicycles. And the 5 kilometers through the field, we always went to one to other house. And we have the connection. I mean, we weren't disconnected with the rest of the people, but not in the same house. I had my next door neighbor, she was a Goyish girl, was mine age. I could say that in those times she was my best friend. As a matter of fact, if I mixed in two things, when I went back to Hungary after the war, I was, indeed, a few weeks as I was there with my husband already, I was in their house. Yeah.
What did your father do for a living?
My father was farming. We have not too big of a farm, but he was doing the farming, and my mother was doing the storekeeping. And he had a, how you call it, a outdoor man or whatever you call it. My mother had an indoor maid that was living in, and what a man was helping my father with everything, with the animals, with the horses, with the cows, with the chickens, and with the felder. So that was his business. Yeah. Before we settled down in Denton, he used to be, I don't know, you call us manager, for a very, very big landlord that was living in Budapest, but he has a big, big farm, and he needed some, you called us foreman. Yeah, something like foreman. Thus, all the managing was in his hand. So he was of his salary. He had everything. Once in a year, their big man came down in summertime, so he gives all the account whatever is doing. He went with horseback riding the whole all around, in checking the men's, and did the buying and selling the horses or whatsoever. But then, when I was born, I must have been about 5, 6 years old when he stopped doing that, and we went on our own.
Did you spend much time on the farm with the animals?
While we had a big backyard also, and there was also a stall where the horses and the cows and the chickens were. So my mother believed in it that you have to know how to do everything, and next to the maid I had to do everything what is has to do. I learned how to milk a cow. I learned how to stuff geese. Well, that's our most meat come in the fat. You know, in those times you didn't know that fat is not good for you. So during the summertime, we were feeding the geese by mouth with corn. Thus you have to do it yourself, because he won't eat that much that he should get fat by itself. And then it were shachted quite a few months after the other, because we needed the big containers of fat, the grease, for cooking and baking and everything. So the meat was so much that we couldn't consume that daily basis. So part of it was smoked. We had a smoke oven, and smoked and put it away for the whole winter. It was hanging in the camera down there, you know, and you eat it during the winter. Does, yeah. So I learned everything what a farm girl has to know, everything. The chickens, how to make the butter, how to feed the animals, how to do everything. And my parents believed that you have to know it. So my mother always said, if you don't know, anybody could do whatever they want for you, you're going to say, okay, you don't know any better. But if you know, and the maid is cleaning your house, and you're putting your finger in top of the lamp, and you see there is coming dust, you will know that she didn't do a good cleaning.
When you think back to your childhood and your growing up years, what comes to mind?
Yes, it was something that I will remember all my life. that it was good, that I had good parents, good family life, and they give me a very good, strong fundament. And I think that's helped me to went through of everything what I went through. Because all the time that I went through, my mother words in her face never was out of my mind. I think that it helped. And I wish to God that my children should remember me the way how I remember my parents.
What were your dreams as a young girl growing up?
While, you know, I don't think that I had any dreams. At the time when I went to high school already, at the end of it, the times were very bad. The boys were already in the Hungarian military. I was the one was left with the parents. They weren't very young, you know. In those times, a person over 60 wasn't considered a young man. And my mother was close to 60. And when my brothers left, they asked me, you help our parents. Whatever has to be done, you just watch out for them and help them. Once we coming back, you won't be amiss anything, but make it sure that they are okay. So between school and helping out at home, I even, when it was a time when we couldn't already have a maid in our houseman, in the house where we were afraid, you know. You didn't know what you do something, but they're going to go and take it, that something, and then they're going to take us away or what. So we were afraid.
Let's go back for a moment and discuss when life started to change for you. Was it when your brothers went into the Hungarian army?
Yeah, that started in this time. It came up the anti-Semitism. It was about 39, 40. It was coming not too badly, but it's coming already, you know, that they showing you the Jew. And this time I was going in Miskolc to the high school, the gymnasium. And I had to take every day, 6:30 in the morning, the train was left me 8 o'clock by the band station there. And from there we walked, or sometimes we took the tramvia. But it wasn't just me. All the around the little towns, the Jewish girls and no Jewish girls also, because it in the little places was no school. You got the elementary and that's it. So whoever want to go higher, they had to travel in Miskolc. And we took the train in there, you know. Those time it wasn't something like mixed co-ed, how you call it in English. It's girls had a wagon in the train. It's a girls' wagon. And the boys' wagon was separate, so we couldn't travel together. We just girls. And it was a mixture. The gentle girls, they went, or they went in Catholic high school, or they went the statliche, how you call it, from the government, the gymnasium, or they went to the Jewish gymnasium. So my parents never wanted me to go to the public one, so I went to the Jewish gymnasium. I made there the 8 years. It's called of Hungarian Erzsébet iskola. That means Elizabeth School. And that was the front building was for the boys, and the back building was for the girls. And in the recess we could see them, but we couldn't talk to them. And that's in those times when started things going sour for us. Those times. It's we weren't persecuted in the small towns, but let's see, we all wear uniform, you know. The uniform in our hat also with the Jewish assembly in the blue white, you know. And we had Sunday we going to school. Saturday is off. And when we were going to the walking from the train to the school, sometimes they call it of Hungarian nyilas, and it must be the Hakenkreuz, you know. You know what a Hakenkreuz is, the Hitler youth or whatever they call it. And they were stoning us sometimes, not something that you get really hurt, but it get you enough to be afraid. So the principal of the school told us that we shouldn't wear the uniform anymore. We should come to the school any dress, a decent clean dress, but not the uniform. So at home we had to be very careful also. And it was also, I can't remember exactly what year was it, German soldiers came to those time. It was already das our governor Horthy Miklós made a pact with the German. He alliated himself to the German. But we Hungarian Jews, we were hoping to the last minute. I remember my father saying it, our Horthy Miklós won't get away his Jews. We were hoping to the last time that he won't give us out to the Germans. In a year, I don't know, it was 41, maybe 41 was it, a German soldier came to the town. And I settled down for a short time. And my mother was the only one who spoke German. So she was a translator for them. They came, they occupied one room also for the officer in the house. And my mother has to translate for the head of the town, because he didn't understand the word. So whatever the German officer said, my mother has to, they took away our cows, they took away our horses, they took away whatever they wanted. We couldn't say a word.
How did the rest of the population in the village react to what was going on?
It wasn't open anti-Semitism there, no. Underneath they were saying the Jew has the money, the Jew has that, the Jew has that. But in the face, they didn't, because was the Jew who wrote in the book whatever they bought, you know. And I gonna pay it. So they paid or not, you couldn't tell anything, you know. And then that was it. With quite a long time, we were just the three of us, my father, my mother, and me. And then in 1941, my older brother, he was in the front in Ukraine. They were fighting against the Russian. And in a day, we got a letter missing and we first got a postcard. You know, the military cards was they sending was an open card, was his under control, and no address, no nothing. And in this said it wasn't his handwriting, and it said that I was shot in my right arm and I am not able to write. It's a nurse writing it, but I am okay. In the next letter I am going to write it. That was it. We never heard from him, and we couldn't get nothing, not from his whatever unit he was or whatsoever, not the Red Cross, nothing. And then my younger brother, he came home for för a urlaub. It wasn't even a urlaub. They let them go from the military, the Jewish people, and they give them, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or something to be at home. And when he came home, he saw a lot. He was in the Czechoslovakia front, and he saw already what's going on. You know, what's going on with the Jews there.
What did he tell you that he saw?
He saw how they opened eyes on the river, and they put the people underneath, and they let them drown their children, parents, young, old. That he told us that he saw the people was digging their grave, and alive they were thrown in, and the German soldiers shot them and then buried them there. So when he came home, he had a nervous breakdown when he was telling us this, all that was he saw. And still we were so hopeful that this won't happen to us. I don't know. We were so hopeful that it won't happen. To the last minute we hoped this won't happen to us. So he was home about 2-3 weeks, no more, when he had to go to his unit. But there already was no military unit, it was forced labor. So he said goodbye to the parents, and I was the one who went with him to the Bante station. Mother cooked and baked and gave him a big parcel to take, that he shouldn't be hungry. And he said to me, Ibojka, das ist Iboja, like mamele or something like that. Take care of the parents. They are old people. Promise me that you're going to watch out for them. And when God help us, everything over. We're going to be here, and we're going to watch out for the parents. I promised, but I couldn't keep the... There was not in my hand to keep the promise. So after that, we didn't, it didn't filter us food or whatsoever. We had vegetable and everything, but it was no income coming in. That's already forget about to work for a living. Whatever we had, we were living on it. And Danes came. Just when he left, it must have been 42 or beginning in 43, my brother left.
We'll take a break.
Take a break now? Okay.
Interview with Iboya Schaumer, tape 2. We were talking about after your brother
After
left.
my brother left, we were left alone, mother and father. We didn't go through hunger or something like that, but everything was in the house. It was a filled up camera with everything, fruit and things like that was my mother always put in jars, in smoked meat, in flour or whatsoever. We could bake our bread, so we weren't suffering hunger or something like that. And we were living quite quietly, and then my father was taken away. It was, I think, in the beginning in 1943, they herded together Jewish men. They take it to the forced labor. But thank God that was maybe 3 weeks or something like that, and then they sent him home.
How did you feel when your father was taken away?
Very sad. We were very afraid, very much scared. We didn't know what's going to happen to my mother and me alone. Between Goyim, those times we didn't trust them absolutely. Absolutely. They were, in your eyes, very nice, and they said, Mrs., whatever you need, just tell us. We're going to do everything. But we rather didn't let them in the house. So we were living a very quiet, low profile, you know.
And by this time, was the store still operating or not?
It wasn't too much to sell because my mother, my brothers went always in the city and bring the supplies. So my mother wouldn't go. He wouldn't ride the horse wagon, you know. I could, but she wouldn't let me go on my own. So, but I am telling you, we didn't suffer hunger or whatsoever. And then I think after 3 weeks my father came back and heard a lot of murmurs that we're going to go to ghetto or whatsoever. We didn't know about Auschwitz in those times, absolutely nothing. So in a day my father said, you know, if they are going to take us to the ghetto in Mezochad, this is about also 20-25 kilometers from the place where we were living. We're going to hide our whatever is worth it, you know. So she said to mother and me, come with me and stay there and see wherever things going, and whoever comes back first, he didn't say this won't come back nobody. It's going to dig it up and going to have something in the hand to start up with it. So he made one big hole under the in the stall under then where they feeding the cows and the horses, you know, that's made of holes, and underneath, and then he covered it with dirt and then covered it with straw. And then the other one, we had two buildings in our home, the winter house and the summer house. So there was no air conditioner, so in summer we cooked in the summer kitchen in the back of the house. So under the stove, that was a stove was made from clay, and he made there an opening and put there jewelry, the silver candelabras, all the more or less valuable things, you know, that could be mean some help once we coming back. And the third one he made under the staircase in the basement. We had a cold camera in the basement where was no fridge in those times, where we keep the milk and butter and things like that, what should be called. Under then, in there he put all the jewelry and all the money. But we have some dollars, I can't remember how much, Hungarian money, American money, and papers from the house, and birthday, wedding, whatsoever what was important. So he said, just remember, she said to me, if you coming back and your brother's coming back, that's it. That nobody could take away from you. So,
were you in touch with your brother in Argentina during this
oh,
period?
during the all years, yeah, but not in 42, 43. It wasn't going letters already. 43, 42 maybe. 41 I remember that he wrote us a letter that my brother and me, we should go to Israel, and from there he could take us to Argentina, but we couldn't anymore. It was no way. Beside then, we wouldn't leave mine parents alone. And then was it, I can't remember in which year, I was a very young girl, he said that my mother should send me to Argentina to him as a Kleinjährige. You know what a Kleinjährige? Not of age. I was, what was it? I must have been 16 years old. So my mother said, dear God, those time in Ungarn, it was said that in Argentina there's a jungle, there's a country where they handling with European made, like they selling them, you know. I going to send this child there in the wilderness. No way she's staying with me. And then naturally we couldn't get in touch with him anymore. He couldn't get in touch with us either. So then we got the order to go in the ghetto, and got the order just to take with us so much was you could carry in your bag and in your arm, nothing big packages or whatsoever. So we made the rucksack the most essential things, food, in bedding or whatsoever, and we went. And there were concentrated all the Jews all around the area. This must have been in 1944 in March. And we were all there. It was something that in a room, I don't know how many family was together. The food wasn't very plenty either. Everybody.
Where were you getting your food from?
While they had some kind of kitchen, the elder from the city, they made some kind of the kakila in everybody, you know, that they made some kind of arrangement to getting food. And we had also plenty of supply, that was in jars, you know, we could take with us, we had it. And then my best friend, she was with her sister, and the sister had a baby about a year and a half, something like that. Fresh milk we didn't get, so, but she knew this city very good, and she sneaked out at night. I sneaked out with her also, and those times we were already with the yellow stars. That was already the law to wear the yellow stars. But somehow we sneaked out in the night and went to a neighbor, which was a good friend of mine. She always gave us fresh milk, so the baby could have fresh milk to drink.
What was your friend's name?
She was from home, Klara Hershkovich, and now her name is Klara Vinskovich, and she lives in Chicago. And about must have been 4 or 5 weeks was we were in the ghetto.
What did you do during the day? Did you have to work?
Well, to take care of the place where you were living in the outside India, we tried to keep it clean, whatever we could. We tried to organize the babies in the small children should be taken care of it. Some of the teachers tried to teach them or play them, you know, entertain them. And then some people what was sick, it was doctor from us, from our people. It was a dentist, you know, and we tried to keep together whatever we could. Matter of fact, when we got the order about, it must have been end of May, that they going to liquidate the ghetto. And there were Hungarian soldiers, there weren't no German soldiers, there were watching out for us. They were mean. They, you know, all the hatred, whatever they holded back of the years, they give us out, you know, that they were swearing at that and they were hitting us. And you have to be careful what you say, you have to be careful where you go. And then in a day we got the order, the spec whatever you can, because the transport is going on. So I remember I had a toothache. My last two was hurting in a way that I was crawling. And I went to the dentist and I said to him, you have to do something. I cannot go within toothache is terrible. So he said, my child, I haven't got antifreeze. I haven't got nothing. I have just a flyer, and that I can take it, but that will be terrible pain for you. I said, mother, what should I do? So my mother said, listen, to go with a toothache, that molar is the last one. You won't be able, we won't have no medication, we won't have nothing. Who knows where we are going, what's going to be with us? We had no idea what's going on. So he sat me down in a chair. My mother was holding me one side, my father holding me on the other side. He took the plier and out. So the pain was, I can tell you how big is the pain was. And then I was cleaning it with alcohol, with pure alcohol. That should shrink, you know. And then the next day we were put it in a train. I don't know how many people, I have no idea. We were taken to Miskolc in a brick factory. It was a very big place, and they were concentrated, all the Jews, all around the big area, not the small area, the big area. There we met already all my uncles and cousins. They were living in Miskolc. And we tried to keep together, and in there put it up a kitchen, but some kind of food they were giving us. And again the Hungarian soldiers, they were meaner than means. They were very, very bad. We have to have so careful, you know, what we doing, what we saying, or how we looking, because they were very bad. And
what were they doing?
They were hitting us, they were yelling us, they were yelling Schwein, Hund, Jew. That's, you had all the money, we don't have anything, you just whatever you had, no, you have to leave it in, you know, things like that. And especially the young girls were very afraid, and our mothers just put us under the apron, you can say it. So that was it. We were there. There the floor was all with dust, then the dust from the brick. There was, and we were lying in the dust. It was no bed, it was nothing. Whoever has a cover or a blanket, put it down. But we tried to sleep all together, the family. I was with my cousin, with everything. The first transport when left, one day they get the order, das Transportieren, and they didn't let us to take already the comforters. All the bedding has to be leave it there, just whatever there, or in the hand, some bag or something. Mostly was we took clothing, whatever, in food again. Again the jar was mother made the conserves, you know, what we could, she made the cream for milk was keep very long, and thus you smear it on a bread and you had something to eat. My cousins, they were going in the first transport. We didn't have a choice, I mean, that I wanted to go with her. They left a day earlier. We left the next day.
Where were you told that the transports were going?
Oh, we weren't told nothing. We weren't told nothing, just go in the cattle wagon, and it was in a very beginning of May when it was. So a day before my cousins left with everybody else, whatever was it, and then the next day we were leaving. So in the wagons, I can tell you how many people was there. It was a lot. We couldn't stretch out our legs. We were sitting down in laying one of the other when it's come to sleep, and then to stand up was very hard also, and it was one small opening there on both sides, and everybody was fighting for it, just a little bit air to God. So we ate whatever we have. They don't give no in nothing. Just was they were giving a pail of water with a ladle. That's for, I don't know, 50 people. I have no idea how many people were in one wagon. And everybody who could, with the hand or with the ladle, and drink a bit. And was one more to go from the body. Right
There
there.
was another bucket
For
people to go to the bathroom.
yeah, to go to the bathroom. At men, women, children, young, old, babies, but you have to go, you can do nothing. We were traveling, I not even knew, 2 days, 3 days, I am not sure. We didn't see anything. It says, who could fight for the little window, saw little land around, in if we stopped by a van station, you know, a train station, to change the buckets. We saw people there, but they couldn't do anything. So
How often did the train stop?
well, probably was it every so often, maybe 5-6 times they stopped. But I don't know if we were traveling 2 days, 3 days, I just can't remember. So then we came to Auschwitz.
What time of day did you arrive at Auschwitz?
The day, I don't know, it was May.
Was it during the day? Was it
During
at
the day,
nighttime?
no, during the day. We didn't know Auschwitz. You know, in Hungarian Jews, we were so naive, so ignorant in that point. We didn't know. The Polish Jews know what was going on. The Czech Jews knew what was going on. We didn't know nothing. We heard some stories, but believe it or not, you know, it's somehow we were so sure, because the Hungarian Jews in Ungarn, they had good. They had education, they had businesses, they were free. The only freedom was they weren't allowed in my time to go of the university. If somebody wanted their son or daughter to have a university degree, they sent them to Italy, because the Hungarian university had a status quo. So we came to Auschwitz, but we didn't know that what Auschwitz is. We saw the wiring all over, you know, the barbed wire all over. We saw the big tower, watchtower, with the German, with the machine guns. But we still didn't know where we are, what we can expect. So then they opened the wagon's doors and they said, out, 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 and everybody out, and they said, leave all your possession on the floor, on the ground. You just go, go, go. And we threw away everything and left it there. And naturally we started to get together with the family. We wanted to be together. So they tell us in German, but I didn't know what they were saying. 5 to a row. My mother understood what they talking about, and she told us we have to stand here 5. So it was my mother, my father, me, my friend Clara, her sister Ilus, and the baby. The baby was in the arm of my friend, not the mother of the baby. So we saw there German soldiers with German shepherds in a stick. How you call the stick was, how you call it of English?
A baton.
A baston.
Baton, yeah.
A baton, not a baston, but you're walking a baton, but they going in heating their own boots, you know, and looking around. And then we saw men's, but we had no idea what they are. They were wearing striped suit, you know, a striped, not like the Jalminke, but the kapelus, you know. And in the back, in the middle of their hair, then when they take off the kapelus, it was like a Lagerstrasse, you know, middle of the head, it was shaved. And one of the men came to us and speak Yiddish. Again, we didn't know nothing. My mother answering him. He asked my mother, whose is this baby? He said that Clara is a young girl, you know. So my mother said that's from her sister. So that man said, tell the girl to give the baby for the mother, because older people in young mothers with young children, they are going in a different place. They're going to a better place. They're not going working place. So she gave her sister, and then the German came, the officer, and he started with the baton. Left, left, right, right. You know, they were left, right, then this side. They were told left, then this side. We were all too mixed, you know, we really didn't know. All of a sudden, no mother, no father, and we look around and no sign of it. We saw a long group of people walking, but we didn't know who they are, if they are there or they are not. So they again, we were told to be 5. So we were there just two, my friend Clara and me, and 3 other girls was his friend from home, came together, and we said we're going to stick together. So when they finished the selection and only left those people who were going right, so they said march. They were taking us in a big, you know what a hangar is? How you call it, where the planes...
a hangar, yes.
Hang, okay. It was enormous big. It was no plane in it, enormous big. So we marched in there, and we were told, Austin, take off everything. Just leave your shoes. So we throw down everything. We were told, what can you do? We throw down everything, and we were standing in the shoes, and then they told us to go one by one or 5 or whatever to a room. And there were German Aufseherin, women soldiers, and they shaved us. Every single hair in your body, in your head, was gone. You were completely without any body hair. And then they told us to take a shower. So we took a shower, and then they give us a gray dress, everybody. In the dress was a Lagerstrasse, we called that, a red oil let's see, vidas like that, all in the back. And then when we came out in the shower, from the shower, and we have the dress, we didn't recognize each other. You know, you had this hair, and then you coming out without a drop of hair, and you didn't recognize yourself. And to get together with the friends, we calling by name. So everybody who heard their name came to the persons, or we five were together. So then they said to us, everybody sat down in Turkish seat. You know what a Turkish seat is? You sat down, you crossing your leg, and the other person sit there here. And the other. And I said, it was already in those time, nighttime. Is sit down and go to sleep. So we were hungry, we were tired, we were mixed up, we didn't know, we coming and going, we didn't know who we are. We went to sleep, and we slept. About 4 o'clock, the whistle blow. Aufstehen, 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 up, up, up. And we getting up, and we are so confused. I remember first word is mine. I'm looking around. Where is my mother? And I look around, and all my friends, they are not here. So I came back, you know, that they are not here. So they again put us in lines, 5 by a row, and march. So we marched from there for a while, not too far away, maybe a couple kilometers or whatsoever. Again, barbed wiring in buildings. They were taking us to the barracks where we were set down. We going through in the barracks and everything. And once we stop, and who I see, my cousin Magda, and the other row, not in our group. And I say, Magda, what you doing here? He said, whatever you doing here, that is the same thing. I said, Magda, come on here, come, let's go together. She said, I can't. We are counted already. If I go, some people will be shot if somebody is missing.
We'll have to take a break now.
Okay.
Interview with Iboya Schaumer, tape 3. When Magda told you that she couldn't join you because they had been counted and she'd have been shot, how did you react to that?
While afraid, and then she asked me that I should join them. I said, you know, I would like to go with you, but I am here with the friends, but it's friends from home. And I said, when my mother and brothers going to look for me, they going to look in their group because they knew that I left with them. You know, I don't know what to tell you. This is fate, this is destiny. She didn't came back. After the war, I met the only one cousin was came back. She was older than me, and this Magda was younger than me. She said that she met her also in Auschwitz, and soon after, when our transport came, some of the people from Magda's block, they sent them out to try out if some field is a minefield, and they all were blown up. So if those time I would go with her, I am not here to tell. So I don't know. It's destiny, fate. Okay. So then we went, we were taken in a block. And the blockelteste, that was a German woman, said, that's where you're going to be, sex to a bunker. And you're going to sleep here. That is not a Arbeitslager, she said. So after when you're doing in the morning the Appelzählen, you know what Appelzählen is, in Kaffeeholm, then you could do whatever you want. Walk around, not to touch the wires because they are electrified, and whoever is touching is going to be electrified. Now you sat down again in Turkish seat right there in the wagon, in the barrack, and they brought in a big pot of some kind of food, and they give it for the first one in the line and drink. We were already a few days without eating, but everybody looked one another, what to do. But the hunger is a very powerful thing, you know, and that is started, and I don't know how many people already drink it when it came to me, and I closed my eyes, and I put the pot to my mouth, and whatever was it, and I have no idea what was it. I went down. My friend Clary, he is a very pessimist dear in Chicago. She didn't want it. She said, no, I die before. I said to her, Clary, if you're not doing it, you're gonna die. We want to go back home, drink it. So she drank it. After that, we went to the bunkers, and we went talking to each other. It wasn't nighttime yet, so we talking to each other. Everybody was telling some story from home, from here, from there. And then came the night. We slept how we can. The blanket, we were touring from one side to the other, and there where I was in the middle, there was covered. There where I was in the side, was never covered. 4 o'clock is again the whistle, up, Appelzählen, and we need 8 people to Kaffeeholm. So the girls was volunteer, no volunteer, they had to go, and they were bringing in, after that when we were a contact, they were bringing in big whatever that was, a very big one, coffee, you know, they were holding coffee. And then we got a tin plate in a tin cup, and then we got a spoonful, a ladleful of black coffee, and a 8 of a bread, and a slice of sometimes bloodwurst, sometimes head cheese. And I said, that is the whole day. You won't get it anymore. Not the bread, not the coffee. That is for the whole day. And then they said, no, you're free to go around. You don't have to work. This is not a working lager. Go look up the latrines, and everybody that we spent hours in the line in the latrine it's an open latrine to go there, but you have to go. And then we sat down in the dust there, it was dust floor, sat down and talked to the people who were there. We tried to find out what's going on. We saw the crematory, but we didn't know what is that, you know. We saw the smoke, but we didn't know what this is. We saw lines of people, naked people also, but we still didn't know. We were just all around Hungarian. We didn't have contact with the other people, but to let us know what's going on. So it was 1 week, I think, we were there, where again I were selling selection. We were already afraid because we knew already that maybe who is going away we won't see anymore, or we will be separated. Again, we have to go undress. And there was Dr. Mengele in a big place there. And
How did you know it was Dr. Mengele?
later, not in those times. I never know his name. He had a big German Shepherd dog with him, and in his hand and things again. I never know. As later we knew that he was the one who was doing selecciones also. And then again we were asked everything off. Just leave the shoes. And we were, you know, when they selling horses in a market and they make them to run around, we had to run around like horses. And whoever he said that is okay, right. So we went one right. Whoever he said go left, we didn't see it anymore, went left. Then we were marching again in to Birkenau. There we were shaved again. We were given a shower, and we were given
You were tattooed.
the tattoo.
What is your number?
17859. It's after we tattooed, we were given again the gray dress. Okay? No. What does it? We were giving aware of again the gray dress, and I think by tattooing they wrote something. They had some kind of kept a statistic on names, or I think so, because they were sitting by the table and they were writing. And then again we were put in the line. There was the first time when I got a clap, because I lost mine 5, and they pushed me in somewhere else, and I didn't want to go without my friends, and I made him. I was a sex always somewhere, you know, but I wanted to go there, was they were staying in push out the 5th, in me go there. When a German Aufseherin saw me and give me one in my ear, just 3 days I couldn't hear of mine ear, and I said to myself, Gepore sollst du sein, I am going to my friend. And I went, and I pushed out the girl, poor who she was, wherever she was, pushed out that I was in my 5th. I wanted to stay with the girls. So we again got our Fassung, this 8 bread with a slice of cold cut, and put it again in wagons. A little bit better condition than when we were coming from Ungarn. Far more place, more water we were giving. We must have been traveling maybe 3 days, I think, or maybe not. Maybe I can't recall exactly. Beautiful scenery was we could see from the little opening. It was beautiful. In May everything is blooming, everything. It was beautiful. And we came to Plasso, next to Krakow, in a Polish lager. There were Polish men and Polish women, also separate blocks. Also the barbed wire and everything, and again the German with the dogs and the Aufseher and everything. But mostly we were taken care by the Polish couples. If you ever see beautiful men there, you should have seen them. They were the leftover from the men, you know. But they were looking beautiful, dressed beautiful with the Polish boots, white shirts, but they were so bad. They were so bad. They were so... George Kent.
Why did you say that they were bad?
I'm gonna tell you why. There were already 5 years in the lager. Their whole family was shut out before their eyes. Every tenth of them was shot. And we were newcomers. And they were so bitter because once my friend Clara said, she was swearing, you know, said, what do you want from us? We are Jewish girls. Why are you so mean to us? Not enough that the Germans is hitting from other side. Whatever we're doing is not good for you. You hit us more than the German. Why? So he said, you know, if we didn't do what they said, or not doing what they said, every saint going to be shot. So to survive, we have to do as we told. And so we have a very, very hard time there. We were working in the field there. Where, how you call it, those things that go with one wheel in, you schlepping, wheelbarrows? Yeah, we were schlepping their dirt in whatever. This was the first time when I saw on execution. I was schlepping mine things, you know, and there was a Polish politician family, a couple with 2 children. It was Dicta Brave, a grave, and the mother, father, and the 2 children, they were standing in the middle. I didn't understand what they say, but she was praying, showing the children. I suppose she was saying, kill me, but let the kids live. And when I saw the German, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and kill all 4 of them. So I ran away. I didn't want to see anymore. So there we were about 6 weeks. The food was food. We eat garbage, we eat whatever we find. We drink water from the where the cow left a little bit hole in the water from the rain, and we eat it. We take out cabbage leaves from the garbage, or potato peel from the garbage, and once in a week we got something. I call it soup with vegetable, whatever. It wasn't enough to die in, wasn't enough to live on it.
Were any of the women sexually abused?
Not to my knowledge. No, it were a woman that came from Czechoslovakia. What were rumors. I don't know if I should say that. Should I? That were lovers from the German officers. They were dressed beautiful. They were makeup. They weren't skinny. They weren't skeletons. They looked very, very beautiful. And the rumor was that they are the lovers for the German officers. And they weren't in the barrack with us. But in the barracks where we were living, I didn't hear no complaint. No, if some of the girls offered themselves just for a piece of bread, It could have been problem, but I wouldn't say that. But about the other girls, I know positively that they were. We were in Plasov, and matter of fact, when we were there, I didn't hear from Schindler. And the first time was I heard from Schindler when I saw the movie, but that is there. That is the lager. He was in Krakow. Das ist Plasov in Krakow, das ist one things, you know. But I never heard from him. I never heard that he had there a factory or whatsoever. I don't know. But don't forget, we talking about 1944, and the Polish Jews were for 1939. So with the Hungarian Jews, we didn't know too much.
Aside from this one execution, did you witness any other executions or abuse?
We saw open graves with dead people thrown in, but not saying when they were shot. No, not saying when they shot. Then we were 4 weeks in Plasov, and then was the rumor that the Russian closing up. So we were again put it in the train, and we went back to Auschwitz. We came to Auschwitz in a day was raining, pouring, terrible. And we were there hoodling in you know, they just didn't take us nowhere. We were soaked to the bone. And again, the Czechish girls, they were walking around, and we were asking them, take us somewhere, this is impossible. And they were quite mean also. They said, what are you complaining, Hungarian Jews? They took us Yiddish, you know. You were sleeping under the Puchene, you know what is a Puch? The feather comforter, Dan comforter, and we were already building the lager for you to stay in. So some of us said, who talk Yiddish, he said, what do you want? We should have volunteers to come here to help you build the lager. So after that, it was again selection. Who he was in a good condition went right. That is from us already, was coming back from Plasov. Who wasn't in a good condition went off the left side. So we were put again in barracks. And then we know already what Auschwitz mean. We learned already what the gas camera, what a shower, or whatever is. This time we were there 2 weeks.
When you say that you learned what Auschwitz was, how did you learn?
From the rest of the people what were already in Auschwitz and came back, or there in Plasov again, they knew already what the story is. So we knew already that we have to be afraid of. We were there again 2 weeks, and it wasn't again, we were told it's no working lager. In Auschwitz nobody worked. There, unless they had they worked in the gas camera in sorting out the clothing and the jewelry or the teeth and everything, you know, for the dead people. That's a lot of people were working in the gas camera, in the crematorio, in the magazines, was they were sorting hair in gold, in everything, you know, they were sorting it, they were using it.
How did you know this?
By mouth. We knew already that the man was going around there with the striped things that they're working in the crematory. and we saw people was walked in, that's when they were coming from the lager there, you could see it, that they walking around in they. We weren't 100% sure that they coming out alive or they going to their dead, we didn't know that.
At what point did you find out about the fate of your parents?
Of the very end, I was hoping of the very end, when I was already free, that I find out that people over 24, 25, maybe 30, that didn't survive.
When you went back to Auschwitz the second time, and you said that you, by this time, already knew...
Yeah, but no, I wouldn't think about, I wouldn't think about. We thought that the sick can't walk or whatsoever, but we didn't think about. So we were there 2 weeks. It was the same condition, that appelsälen, kaffehålen, and then sit around in the dust and talk about yesterday, what was at home, and hope that we all going to go home. We hope to the last minute. When again a call selection. We were selected again, 500 Hungarian women. We were given a shower, we were given civil dress in this time, not the green dress, just dress from the magazine, but was mine went to somebody, here went to, whatever. It wasn't looking small or big or whatsoever. And we were selected 500 Hungarian women, and they took us to Augsburg in Germany. This was again 2 days or a day or something, I can't recall exactly the time. A train far, again with 8 of a bread in a slice of cold cut. We came there and we saw a big building with a very big yard. And we were counted and we were put it in a building. And we were given rooms. We go upstairs in steps. It was a very big building, and the top floor. We were giving rooms, not barracks, and beds. So we didn't know in the beginning what's going on, what are we, what's doing. And then came the Aufseherin, the German, and said, you're going to be put at, I think, 15, 20 to a room, 2 to a bed, and you're going to work, factory work. The rules are here different. You have to obey. You have to do whatever you told. If you're doing what you told, no harm going to come to you. You will be able to take once in a week a shower. And you're going to have better food. You're going to work in a factory, a municipal factory, that's making something for planes, some pieces for planes. Some of you will be selected to working for the factory. It will be 2 shifts, 12 hours by day and 12 hours by night. Whoever has the night shift, you're going to change. The food, the dinner, will be saved for you when you finished working. You're going to eat it. And then she said, some of you will be destined to work in the city by the ruins, what is bombarded, and cleaning up ruins. So we all hoped was we going to be in the factory, not in the ruins. So I was lucky enough, and I got the factory work. And my friend Clara, she went to the ruins to work, but she was very bitter about, because it was the elements in hard work and everything. Two sisters was together with us. They get kitchen work. They were so there. I can say with 100% security that this place saved this 500 women life. We all came alive, back alive, because it was more or less the condition human. Can I still talk?
Yes.
You know, the factory said us they want people who works, who produce. So not totally the SS has the hand in the managing, you know. Their factory owners or whatever they were, they had their saying also, you know. So we got there were organized a Krankenhaus, but between us was a doctor and nurse, and anybody who got something to pain or headache or whatsoever, they could go there and the doctor could look it up. You would believe I had my measles in Augsburg, and I was 1 week in the Krankenhaus and didn't go to work. How long this went away completely. And one of the girls was with scarlet fever there, and they were taking care of them. And then they made there in the same building a saving room where people who said that they know how to save. It was a Bekleidung magazine, and we could change clothes. And the people who could save, they fixed it for us, you know. That. So
we're going to have to take a break now.
Yeah, okay.
Schaumer, tape 4. During this time that you worked at the factory, was it just Jewish prisoners who worked at the factory, or were there other civilian people there
Where
as
we
well?
were, it was just 500 Hungarian women. But from where, I don't know, some part of the factory, French Gefangenes, when the enemy catching a soldier, how you call it?
A political prisoner?
They were political prisoners. They were, you know, they lost wherever they were, and the German took them, and they were political prisoners, and they were working, I don't know how many, we couldn't talk to them, they couldn't come close to us. One part of the factory, they were working a heavy, very heavy duty machine, and that was came out, things like that, they were. But where they were living, or what, I don't know. But beside then, we were the Hungarian woman was working in the factory. We worked 12 hours by the machine, and it was a meister, a foreman, a German older man, but wasn't good already for the to be soldier. They was working there in the factory. The work was hard because very, very heavy. And we had an SS Führer and we have a Wehrmacht Führer. And also we had SS Aufseherins, and they were always on top of us, you know. When you didn't do fast enough or you stopped, then within things, you know, they give us one, lows. And so we weren't in picnic there either, but it was more human, you know, that you knew that you go upstairs in the room and you could go in a decent washroom all by your own, not in an open latrine. And this was a water, also a thing with a water. Every day we could wash our face in our hand. And once in a week, in some days, we could take a shower. Okay? And we were free to go around room to room to talk to it was an iron door where our dormitory was. We couldn't go out, but room to go to talk to the girls and know each other, knowing from where you're coming on what they were. Let's see, a few very religious women, but came from the part of Czech Marmaros, I don't know, you probably don't know. This part of Czechoslovakia was belonged to Ungarn, and they were religious people. And those women, they were married and very religious. They were allowed Friday night to light candle, and they were allowed to wear kerchief. And somehow they didn't eat the wurst, they eat just the bread, you know. So they were handled decently, you know. The German Aufseherins, many times, you know, they were mad for something or they didn't, and then it was very easy to give a patch here and a patch there, and the SS officer also. The Wehrmacht officer was a very decent man. If he saw something what is not as supposed to be, he looked away. We didn't have no problem with him. So this 8 or 9 months, it really was a lifesaver. And then we get again the order transport. Those times were the rumors, the American, you know, the rumors were coming. I don't know how, but the rumors were coming. We heard when they tried to kill Hitler, and we were already almost having a party. You heard the rumors. The rumors were coming in, and we said that something must be to it. So we got again. A matter of fact, I don't know if you wanted to have it in Den Augsburg, and the lager, it was working there also, this Miriam Rosenthal, who had a baby in the lager.
How was that possible?
In the last month of the last quarter of the time, not only her, 7 other Hungarian women. Why, that is her story to tell.
How are these women getting pregnant?
Open home. Don't forget, we were there those time about 7 months.
What happened to the women when their babies were born?
They befried in time with the babies together. She is here with her son, a 50 years old son. Yeah, I saw her. I know of her in Augsburg, but I don't know her personally. 500 people you cannot know. We heard when she was taken away, and we said, that's it, we won't see Miriam again. And I never know about her. She's here all the time in Toronto, and I never know about. When I was in Israel, and I met there my friends, and one of my friends her name is Ibi also. She has family in New York, and she was in New York, and she knew about Miriam. She didn't know that I am here. She said that I am in South America. And she went to visit Miriam. And when I was in Israel, I told her that I living in Toronto. Did you see Miriam? I said, what Miriam? Miriam Rosenthal, who had the baby. I said, she's alive? Yeah. They took them to Buchenwald. And those times the German wanted to show that they don't have Jewish babies. They let them alive. And they wanted to show because it was end of the world. And all the 8 kids survived. Yeah. So going back to then, that's we got again the transport. All the 500, less Miriam, all the 500 women get in the transport again with the 8 of the bread and the 1 slice of wurst, and we were traveling again a few days, I don't know how many, and we coming to Mühldorf. Mühldorf is a lager, wherever it is, I don't know, it's in Germany. We going in there again, the barbed wires and the barracks and the separated, we saw their men's in that side. They looked skeletons. You ever heard the word Muslim? They were all Muslims. They looked terrible. They were really dead hanging on the wire, And then they putting us in the barrack, and they said, take the bunkers. In those bunkers, I fall smeared with blood and with other things, everything, the grass, the straw, everything, dirty, with segment, with, everything. So we said, how could we? The German officer said, this is your place to sleep. There were people dying away in typhus in you. So we said, no, that must be the Latin way. They didn't give us a water to wipe it down. How it was, you can't do anything else, you have to. You could take out your guts, but it wouldn't help you. So we lie down, and that's it. Then we went to send to work in a stone mine, you call it. The men, the same men was in the neighboring things. They were cutting out stone from the land, from whatever it was, but it was already deep down, and us, the women, the girls, they had to schlep it up and take it to the other men, so they were building a highway or whatsoever. So that was a terrible. First of all, if you didn't took enough, the German give us and send back, bring more. We could fall with the stone, with everything, they couldn't kill us. So we slept. The food was awful. The Germans were already feeling, that is the end, and it was no pardon for nothing. They hit us wherever we did good or didn't do good, or we opened your mouth or we closed our mouth. It was no different. This time we paid for the 8 or 9 months was we were in Augsburg. paid bitter for it. We got everything what was, people got all the year, you know, everything got one. The food was awful. We got a little bit warm water with something floating in it. We were very hungry. We eat garbage. We eat garbage. Simple, we went to look for the garbage cans and we took out the garbage and we eat again from the floor whatever drink. And then one time some of us was sent to the kartoffel field, or the potato field, to bring potato home to the kitchen. So if we were lucky, we could garden a few potatoes, but you were playing with your life. If you catched with 2-3 potatoes, you know, that's your life. So there we were giving already other dress, the dresses what we came with already. So we got big dresses or whatever. Mine was this to here. So I make it short there and make here a belt. And I was so skinny, so I made the dress this way, you know, on the belt, no? And put the potatoes in it. And I didn't get caught. And if somebody from the kitchen brings us a little bit of salt, it was heaven. We salted the raw potato, not cooked. Salted the raw potato, and it was a fiesta. And those potatoes we smuggled for the men also through the wire. It was no electric wire there, just wire. We smuggled them that they should, because they looked terrible. They were, I don't know if any of them survived. This was terrible. So it was again, this was about 4 or 5 weeks when we were there. And one day, the SS Führer, he worked with the men also, took out the men to work on the felder, and the American airplanes was bombarded, and he didn't let them to take cover. So all of them died, and he died with them. Thank God he died too. So the Wehrmachtführer took over the Macht, didn't it? So in a day or so, we got again the order, it has to be liquidated, the lager. So we didn't know. We were put, I don't know how many people, then we must have been a good over 1,000 people from the lager. That's, we were put in the wagons and driving and riding with the wagons. We came to a place was called Tutzing, if I remember. I am not sure. A German place. It's there is a bandmaster, a train master there, and he came out. We were closed up in the wagons. We weren't free. What are you people doing in the wagons when the Americans are already here? What can you do? You are closed up. You are a prisoner. We were, believe it or not believe it, meantime we are here. So the train goes again, and we coming to a forest. And before we got to the forest, we were bombarded from the Americans. I didn't know what is in the train. We were shut up. One of my friends lost her legs, got a sharp nail, and couldn't get right away to the hospital or what. Nothing could have done. We tore off our dress, and that nothing could have done. The other one got a sign in the face. And the men took off their striped jacket and put it on the top of the train, you know, and then made me the kapelush. Who knows, they knew what was it or what not. But they went away. They went away. Damage was done, but they went away. After that, the train stopped in the forest. The Wehrmachtführer opened the wagon doors and said, people come out. I have an order to take you to the Vernichtungsort and get rid of you. Vernicht everybody. Not leave a trace. I am not going. I am standing here. The liberation shouldn't be far away. A few more days. You will be free. Don't do anything stupid. Go around, but just close by. Don't go too far. Food is there in the food wagon. You're going to get little by, you know, to go by. But don't do anything stupid, because danger is still around. But to hear the word freedom, you didn't say that. The people started to run. We didn't know what we're running to. It was a bridge there, not too far from the, I don't know, a few hundred meter or whatsoever was it there. And we ran, the men ran, lots of the men, they ran away in the neighboring towns, you know. And we ran away, we ran to the bridge when we heard ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. We look up and, you know, the SS with the black shirts, with the, that head on the they sitting in motor bicycle, and I tra-ta-ta-ta-ta. My friend and I, we ran under the bridge and hide there in a corner and didn't move. So long we heard any noise. No. My granddaughter.
Just continue, please.
Okay. My granddaughter is out. It's we sit there how long we didn't hear a word anymore, and then we ran back and sit in the wagon. Sit in the wagon and didn't say a word. We were so scared, so afraid. And he again told us, don't do anything stupid. No, the rest of some of the men, they broke up the food wagon and they started the margarine and the wurst. They were flying like flies, you know. And he said again, wait. So we waited. It was a small lake, not far from the train. We went there every day to wash our face. In 1st of May, we going with my friend and we start to wash our face, and something is reflecting on the water. We look up and the highway, like jeeps in uniforms. We knew this is not German uniforms, but we didn't know if it was American or Russian. And after a while, we going back there by the train, you know, and 2 or 3 jeeps, they turning in, and they looking us up. They don't know what to make of it, you know. Who are they? People lying dead on the floor, you know. People looks like nobody but you could associate with a human being, you know. And then the German, not the SS, the Wehrmacht took off his belt, saying his rank in name, in everything, and give over everything for the Amerikanischer officer. And then some of the people by us took English, you know. So they started to explain for the Amerikaner what we are and what is the situation. So it was a few Jewish soldiers also, and they were crying. When they heard the story, they were crying, and they tried to give us a little bit chocolate or something, you know. And then the Amerikaner officer said, "Don't move. I'm going to send here a kitchen wagon, and you're going to eat." And then he ordered his people to take away the dead. And then they came later with a kitchen wagon and some sort of ambulance or something, and they took the people who couldn't walk, who couldn't move, but they were still alive, but they couldn't walk anymore. And they give us a whole bit cooked in milk, warm, just a little bit. They said, "Don't eat too much because your stomach is not to eat." And then they sent the trucks, was they traveling, the soldiers, not the jeeps, the big one, when they and they took us to Feldafing. As Feldafing was a cadet school for the German Hitlerjugend, whatsoever, they made them soldiers, you know. And they took us there, and they give us, every one of them, a pyjama, also from then soldiers must have been, in a towel, and they ask us, going to take a shower, in a bar of soap, take a shower. We hesitated. And there's someone, "What's the matter with you? You are so dirty. You stink. Why don't you go and clean yourself up?" So somebody said, "Bayas shower mean dead. Don't you worry about here. You won't die in the shower." So we took a good shower, and then they took us in a room. That was also the dormitory from then. And 1 man for a bed. Said, 1 person to a bed? Said, "Yeah, I don't want to see 2 people in the bed. It's enough for everybody." So that was our liberation. That was, we start to believe that we really survived, that we are here. And that's it. And then, you know, then was organized the joint, the UNRWA. We registered there. We also were saying from where we coming, in the family names, and looking for family and things like that, you know. And slowly they were coming fresh transport, and they all concentrated. And slowly there, not so slowly, in 47 and 49, till were people there, you know. They were trying to organize people who wanted to go back home, or they wanted to emigrate to America, to Canada, to wherever they were allowed to go, you know, or wherever you got family. So I knew that I have a brother in Argentina, that I know. David Marcus, Buenos Aires, but I couldn't remember address, no, nothing. But he found me because I registered myself, and I registered him too, and he went every day to the joint there in Buenos Aires to look up the list. And when he saw Marcus Iboya, that's mine, Mishkoltz, that's my little sister. And then he sent there to Feldafing, to the joint, a letter in my name. It took a very long time, didn't go so fast. In meantime, I met my husband there. We married.
When did you get married?
We married in November 5th in 1945. And
what is the name of your husband?
George Schaumer. And he promised me after we got married that he's going to take me back to Ungarn and see what everybody or anybody came back. So we went back right away, right after we married. Right away we went back to Ungarn. We traveled. It wasn't easy traveling in those times with the trains either. So we went back to my little town, and there I saw there's nobody. Nobody came back. Strange people was in the house living. They took out everything, whatever. I saw men wearing my brother's pants in tops, in clothing, everything was left out, everything, nothing. They were happy that the Jew didn't come back. We don't have to keep their stuff. And that was the time when we dig up what my father put it in. Find the third one we didn't find. Somebody else must have found it. So I took it with myself, and in the house I couldn't get it. They give it for a Hungarian hero as lost a leg in the war. They donated our house to him, as coming to him. He's a hero.
Take a break now. Back to Hungary.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Terrible. That was a feeling that I saw that I won't survive. When I walked in the patio at my parents' house, and I saw the people living there, and the family are things there, and they are not there. That was a terrible feeling. That was a feeling. Those people that were living there offered me my room, that we should, with my husband, stay there and sleep there. I couldn't. I went, as I told you, that I had there a girlfriend that was a good friend of mine, next door neighbor. I was sleeping by her house because I just couldn't. When I went in and I saw everything, I saw this heart is going to break. Just my parents, my brothers. That's where their home. And I coming in. Look who is there, what's they doing, everything. I tried to get back the house. I went there to the authorities. It happens to me, I don't know what is this, what kind of law is this or whatever. They said because I married a Polish man, I lost my Hungarian citizenship, and I have no right to no property, whatever is there. And then they said their whatever his title was it, he said nobody came back when the war ended, so we give that for the man, he's a Hungarian hero. I said, but I came back, I am here. I said, and I had the papers, because when my parents bought this house, they put it up the name of the 3 children with the their lifetime to use it, the right to use it. That means my mother and my father lives, they have the right to use the house, but the title is mine 2 brothers and mine. I said, I am the owner, but we don't know where is the other 2 owners are. We have to wait for the other 2 come back. So I left it in then. and I never bothered with it. No, that's when it was the Hungarian Wiedergutmachung, whatever they did. I made the papers. It cost me more money than it's worth it. And they sent me a letter. They give me 500,000 penge for it. I don't know what, but coupons. Thus I have to go to Ungarn and spend it in Ungarn. Forget it. But we're going to spend it, gonna cost me a hotel in one evening in the hotel with the whole things they giving. So then we were there a few weeks in Ungarn, and then we went back to Feldafing, and then I got in touch with my brother. We sent it each other, and I asked him to send me some papers to go to Argentina. Happens to be when the first letter what I sent him, I wasn't married yet. That was before I went to Ungarn and before when I got married. Send them the letter to, because I want to go to, I don't want to go back home. I want to go to Argentina. So he said, he sent me the papers. But by the time the papers came, I was married. So I was married and I wrote them that I married and I wrote them that I went back home and I am the only one who came back from the war and I want to go to Argentina. So it took a while and he sent again papers, but still we couldn't go because by the time that the paper arrived, I had a baby. My son, I got married in November 15 in 1945, and Leon was born December 15, 1946. So when he was 6 weeks old, we took the papers and we went to Paris, and we were sitting there till, it was in February, we were sitting there till June, how long we got the boat, to go to Montevideo because Argentina Peron didn't let in Jews in those times. So we went to Uruguay and my son was 6 months old when we got there. And then 9 years later I had another son. And we were living there in 18 years. And then my husband had here, those times his mother was alive. And his two sisters were living in Canada, one in Toronto, one in Montreal. And there in Uruguay the situation wasn't so, especially for the kids, I didn't see no future, what they going to do there and whatsoever. So we decided to come here in 1965. Since then we are here to tell the story.
And what have you done since coming to Canada?
What did we do? I mean, work-wise, or what we do was I told you that I was working in Dateris Creamery in Appetizer. My husband was working in a factory. In my older son, he was working also something. He was 18 years old when he became 18, 19 years old. And then he got married very young. He was 20 years old when he got married. And had this two big, the big girl and the big boy. And then after 8 years working there in the factory, my husband worked in the factory. I worked by daters. And then my husband worked in a factory. Then we bought the delicatessen store. And we were, I think, see, I am, till 82 we got, 82, 83 something. Yeah, 83 we had the delicatessen store. And then we retired and we traveled a little bit. Went to Israel, went back to Uruguay.
And I understand you have a number of grandchildren?
I have 7 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Ja. Family kan eine höra was vi är created. This is the showing that we are here. We survived. This is the new generation that's going to take the torch ahead, and I won't forget.
You lost your family
The whole
in
family.
the Holocaust. Why do you think you survived?
I don't know. I asked many times. I had a guilt feeling about many years. I felt very guilty. I said, I was divorced in the family. I had nothing but my mama was the best Schaumer was could exist. My brothers were good boys. My father, everybody. What did I do? Why did I deserve to stay alive, the only one from the family? I felt so guilty, so much guilt that I am alive. Many times I ask myself, why? Why did I go through? I don't know.
How have your experiences from the war affected your life?
You mean as a person, a religion? Well, at religion, I am not that believer what I used to believe. I don't. I wouldn't say that I don't believe in God. I believe, but I am asking, but never ask. Today I am asking, how could He let it happen? How could let it happen? So many innocent people, so much suffering, so much things was is unbelievable that people not even wanted to believe that something like that could happen. But see, though the Almighty that can with a slap of a hand change the world. How could He let it happen? And I believe in God, you know, I believe, but I'm questioning.
Did your war experiences affect you as a parent, the way you raised your children?
I think a more protective. It's always in mind they should never know, they should never experience. This God should help them to live a good life and never ever to have just a little bit experience of those what we went through.
Over the years, have you had nightmares?
In the beginning, but then they gone. In the beginning, they have, you know, to you just think what's happened. But just in the beginning, in the beginning, we not even talk about absolutely, you know. We didn't. We were happy that it's over, and we weren't talking about. And
have you ever spoken to your children about your experiences?
Not really. Not really. That granddaughter of mine was, she insisted on it. You know who you could talk about really? The people who were there. There you open, when you coming together, from the beginning, there you open your heart in. You remember, it is here, it is there, you know, it's, then you could somehow, you know that they know that you're telling the truth. I mean that you're not making up, not something but a sick mind going to make up in tell a story. They know because they happen to all of them. Maybe to other people, maybe even to your children, you are afraid to say. They could say maybe, come on, what are you talking about? This cannot be true. You know, we always had one things when I even wanted to start to talk about. My father was in the World War One, and he came home, and he started all his life. He started so many times to tell us. We knew already the stories inside out and upside down, and when he started to talk by the table, we kids just looked at each other. We didn't say, but we were thinking again with them stories. So I had this in my mind. I said, if I'm going to start to talk with my kids what I went through in the lager in the wartime, I said, they're going to do the same thing what we did with father. She's at it again. So I never, they knew that I was there, you know, I lost all my family and everything. But the whole story, I just couldn't, somehow I feel as they're going to, I don't know, reject, this is not a right word. They would think maybe that I am exaggerating, that I couldn't go through with it, that no way that a person could go through with it a whole year and came out alive in one piece, and not even crazy. Hagyjuk mein son that you are crazy.
Now that you've shared your story with us,
Yeah.
what message would you like to leave the next generation?
The next generation, that we are survivor, and that is, we created the next generation. Now it is their way to pick up the torch and go ahead and remember what your forefathers went through, and make it sure that never again will happen, and never to forget. Just remember that 6 million souls, that you are the continuation of them.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaumer.
Thank you. This is the picture of my parents, Lajos Markus and Aranka Weiss Markus. The picture was taken in 1907 or 1908.
Where was it taken?
In Hungary. This is a picture of me when I was 2 years old and taken in Miskolc, Hungary. That is my youngest brother, László Markus, then the oldest brother, David Markus, and the middle brother, Ernő Markus. Now on my left...
Is this from right to left?
And now in my left, it's me, and I must have been about 5 years old. Then my mother, Aranka Weiss Markus, and my father, Lajos Markus.
Where was the picture taken?
The picture was taken in Miskolc, Hungary. And this is my older brother, Ernő Markus, and the picture was taken in Hungary, it's about in 1939-40. And this is my younger brother, László Markus, and this picture was taken in Miskolc, Hungary, in the time when he was by the Hungarian military. Okay, this is those 2 silver cups that the kids give it to our parents of their 25th anniversary. That was before we went to the ghetto. My father hid it with rest of the stuff. And when 1945, end of 1945, I went back to Ungarn. I dig up and find it in this little watch. It was my mother, thus I find it also. Tell me when, yeah? This is my husband George. Next to him...
On the left is your husband George?
On the left, my husband George. Next to him, it's me, Ibi Schaumer. Next to me, my daughter-in-law Joanna. Next to her is Justin, their son. Next to him is Leon, my older son. And before him, little Julia, their daughter.
Where was the picture taken?
The picture was taken in the evening affair of my grandson bar mitzvah.
In Toronto?
In Toronto, yeah. Okay, of the left is Dennis Schaumer, my granddaughter. Dennis Schaumer Robbins, my granddaughter. Next to her is Robbie Schaumer, my grandson. They are the oldest children from my older son Leon. And before them, I am standing their grandmother, Ibi Schaumer. Of the left is my husband, George Schaumer. Next to him is our younger son, Mike Schaumer. Next to him, his wife, Arlene. No, on the of the left side is Daniel Schaumer, that is their son. Next to him, it's me, Ibi Schaumer. Next to me is Arlene's mother, Mrs. Fried. Next to her is David Schaumer, the bar mitzvah boy. And before me is standing Brittany Schaumer, their little girl. And the picture was taken in the Beit Emet in April 5th, 97. This little girl is Avi Robbins, my daughter, and Nachi Robbins, also my granddaughter's son. This is our great-grandchildren, and it was taken in their own bed in 1996. Yeah. This is my husband, George Schaumer. We are married 1952. We married in Feldafing right after the war. And there we are to telling you the story. Thank you.